Greetings of peace and greetings of love. A very warm welcome to everyone who is joining the first episode of the Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall in 2025. My name is Aneta and I will be your host this time. So first of all, I would like to wish you a magical 2025, full of wonders of love and collaboration. May you be happy and may you spread this happiness all around. So this year builds on both challenges and achievements from last year, 2024. And in terms of land degradation, it is worsening due to climate change and human activities, with nearly 40% of Earth's land already affected. So, United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification, UNCCD, with 197 countries and European Union leads global efforts to address desertification, land degradation, and drought. So in December 2024, UNCCD COP16, which means Conference of Parties, which means meeting of all the countries, was organized in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. And it was the largest ever, with almost 50,000 participants in blue zone and green zone. And delegates, they focused on advancing efforts to combat desertification and also to mitigate the impacts of drought. And while some of the goals remain unmet, COP16 made substantial progress, raising also hopes for resolving the drought issues at COP17 in Mongolia in 2026. Brahma Kumaris was also present there, and we were there to contribute with our inside-out approach, which is about fostering values of peace, compassion, collaboration, and that then helps individuals to restore ecosystems, and it also helps to build resilient communities. So, during this episode, we will share a fragment of so-called open dialogue session, which is a session between the civil society organizations and parties at the plenary room. And there, Priyanka Patil, the youth representative of the Brahma Kumaris, she presented our approach towards a regenerative food system, focusing on empowering the communities with tools such as learning circles or sacred seed ceremony. Peace Drops for the Great Green Wall is an initiative of the Brahma Kumaris Environment Initiative, and here we want to generate good wishes and positive energy to support the Sahel region and also people who live there. And the Great Green Wall initiative was started a decade ago by the African Union, aiming to create an 8,000 kilometer long green belt of trees and sustainable ecosystems spanning from Senegal to Djibouti. And for sure, it is a very ambitious symbol of hope, peace, and collaboration. And it remains one of the flagship projects of UNCCD. So this year, let us shower the world with our good wishes and with power of collaboration. So now I would like to invite you to join us for also 2 special meditations, which will give an experience of this refreshment and empowerment while we go on the inner journey. So please do enjoy, and we will meet again later. Thank you.
Sit comfortably and relax. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. Consider the healing and nurturing qualities of the rain falling on the earth. Rain renews dry ground and softens and cleanses the soil. Rain replenishes every river, lake, and stream, and calms the ocean waters. With every drop, the rain nourishes new growth, revives what has wilted, and sustains life in all things. Each drop quenches our thirst and washes away negative things. In the same way, when we think positive and peaceful thoughts, it will refresh and restore a hopeful outlook. When we use words that are soft and loving, they create a benevolent atmosphere and nurture warm and respectful relationships. When our every action is mindful and helpful to others, we begin to make a beautiful world. With every drop of peaceful, loving energy we put into the world, situations begin to resolve, interactions simplify, and contentment grows. Today, like the rain, let me put only drops of peaceful and positive energy into the world.
The second panelist is Ms. Priyanka Patel, a youth representative by Brahma Kumaris in India. She is a young regenerative agronomist, a certified permaculture educator. Priyanka is also recipient of the Water Conservator 2023 award from the Ministry of Water Resources of India. Today, she will share the strategy employed by women in rural areas in agroecology practice. Please, Priyanka, the floor is yours. Please stick it to the time.
Thanks, Maro. Namaste, good morning, and greetings of love. Thanks UNCCD for this opportunity to share this space with the people of land. I want to start my story of resilience, and this is the story of rural India and local communities. You can see in the pictures, these are the women from the Kutch region, which is the arid region from the India, where we started working on some community regeneration projects. And as you all know, the drylands are facing so many challenges, and one of the major challenges with the food system. As we all know, the food is the biggest impact we have had on the planet. So the way we are producing food, the way we are processing it, and the way we are transferring it in the different parts of the world, it's causing emission, and it's causing severe damage to the planet. But always there is a hope, and I'm starting this story with the spiral of erosion. When we entered in the village of India, that is in the Kutch, the people are there, you can see all are the elders. The many youth are migrated from the village, and village having only 96 to 126 peoples in the different villages. So we started working with them, and we observed their plate. Their plate having only few things, is like one roti with the wheat and onion and potato. So it was like difficult for us to be there in that challenging situation, and it's a teary situation for us, how they are surviving, because they have shifted their traditional practices of food system. They have heritage of so many diverse grains, but they are growing now cash crops. The cropping patterns are changed, the plates are changed from diversified food to the monoculture. And this monoculture again went into the mind. And people are only looking for the production, and they are not earning so much from all these seasonal crops. And 80% crops they are growing are only annual, and it's damaging soil more and making the soil poor and unhealthy, and it's like a disease. And disease of this degradation is transferring, and it's again causing the drought. It's like a vicious cycle: drought, degradation, and the soil is poor. It's not holding the water which is we are getting from the very minimal rain. It's like a 170 mm there. So we started working on the two things. You can see here the learning circle. So as we feel the regeneration is highly impossible without education and well-being. In the learning circle, we adopted the 7 steps formula for village prosperity. So we started understanding their problems, their own challenges, because as we know, there are so many challenges with the food security and their consumption pattern, monoculture, malnutrition, and the poor soils. And also erratic climatic events in the dry lands. There are floods sometimes, there are no rainfall, and there is a prolonged rainfall. It's causing the reduced the income, and it's also reducing the production. So all these failure stories, and they, due to all these things, they can't afford the fruits, vegetables, and colors on their plate. So if the food is the biggest negative impact, but then food can be a effective tool. So we started solving this problem with this tool of food, and I believe food can solve this reverse the spiral of erosion, and erosion at all level: erosion of soil, erosion of society, erosion of health. And we can turn this spiral of erosion into the spiral of abundance. So we started working on soil regeneration with some strategies like cover cropping, mulching, crop rotation, mixed cropping, and watershed management. And watershed management with the trenches you can see in the picture. Trenches, swells is a beautiful planting system. On the swells, they can absorb the water more than 500 liters of one small structure, and it can help to grow more than 5 trees, and it can provide the food security in the dry lands. So the trenches will become full within a season, and it helps to grow the abundant grasses in the drylands, because the grassland, overgrazing of these grasslands and degradation is the one of the challenge in the drylands. So then second, for the well-being, we started one initiative which is called the Sacred Seed Initiative. And with this Sacred Seed Initiative, we started giving them native seeds, and these native seeds helping them to give the legacy of this food security and food sovereignty for food freedom to their next generation. And now you can see they are growing diverse, colorful vegetables there, and their plates are very colorful now. So I want to show one video how we are working with these communities and how they are building resilience.
अंधार भेद उजड़ पाड़ पहाट न विका हाती हातरा नदी पेटली देवत ठेवू वातरा स्वाभिमानी लढवल्याही शेतकऱ्याची जात आम्हाची शपथ घेऊन फुलवसार नागर काळाईची पुण्याई वेळतीच तू दादर
Thank you.
I settle into a very comfortable position. I leave any other thoughts outside as I direct my mind inwards, paying attention to my breathing in and out, in my natural pace, and I relax completely. I remind myself of this very wonderful phenomenon of rain. Rain has such spiritual significance in many traditions. I reconnect with the life-giving qualities of rain, the nurturing qualities of rain, the transformative power of rain that changes landforms, changes ecosystems, cleanses, and I understand how, as a spiritual being, when I remind myself of my true nature, my natural state of innocence, my peaceful, loving, joyful nature, there is a natural sustenance of myself and all those around me, and then when I think about or feel about, just like rain is a sustainer, the energy of my mind, when operated from this inner space, is also a very subtle but very powerful sustainer. And I reconnect with this true nature of my being. And remembering that rain is driven by the energy of the sun, the energy that drives the hydrological cycle, evaporating water from the oceans, from the lakes, enabling wind and other movements that create clouds that rain. The sun is such a wonderful source of this phenomenon of rain, a key driver to this phenomenon. In the same way, I remind myself of the spiritual sun, the divine highest one, whose power can also enable me to be a much greater sustainer of the self, a much more powerful contributor of peace and freedom and good connections with everyone and with the environment. And I sit in the silence of my being, tapping that spiritual light of the spiritual sun and letting it flow and sustain my being. and help sustain the environment. I let this energy flow into the unlimited and let it transform in a very subtle, in a very deep way.
Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this session. So let's begin 2025 by becoming clouds of good wishes. Just as clouds absorb water from the ocean and then release it as life-giving rain, we can absorb peace and love from the divine ocean of peace and love, and then we can share all of them with the world. So through meditation, we can refresh ourselves, but we can also empower others. Now I would like to invite you to our next session that will happen on the 9th of February. So till then, stay peaceful and stay strong. Thank you. Greetings of peace.